What does it really mean to be a man? Is it about showing no emotion, taking all the weight of the world on your shoulders, or pretending you're unbreakable? Let me tell you a story that might just challenge everything you've been taught about manhood. By the end of this video, you'll discover what it takes to become a man 2.0. Not the version society expects, but the one you were meant to be. Meet Rohan, a young man who grew up idolizing his father. His dad seemed fearless, always fixing things, solving problems, and never showing weakness. Rohan thought, this is what it means to be a man, tough, independent, and always in control. But as Rohan grew older, he started to notice something. His father wasn't invincible. He rarely smiled, hardly talked about his feelings, and carried silent burdens no one knew about. One day, Rohan overheard his father muttering to himself, I wish I could have done things differently. But men don't get second chances. Those words stuck with Rohan like a shadow. Was this the price of being a man? Years later, Rohan found himself at a crossroad. He had a good job, a steady relationship, and a life that looked perfect on the outside. But inside, he was falling apart. One night, after a long day, Rohan's girlfriend confronted him. Girlfriend, you never talk about what's on your mind. You act like you don't need anyone, but I can see it. You're struggling. Why can't you just open up? Rohan snapped. Rohan, because that's not what men do. We handle it. We don't burden others. That's how my father lived, and that's how I will too. But as the words left his mouth, he felt a pang of doubt. Was his father's way truly the only way? One day, while wandering aimlessly through the city, Rohan stumbled upon an old bookstore. Inside, he met an elderly man who seemed to radiate wisdom. The man noticed Rohan's troubled expression and said, Old man, young man, life has a way of writing stories on our faces. Yours looks like a story of a man fighting a silent battle. Surprised, Rohan nodded. He poured out his struggle, his fear of failure, his inability to express emotion, and his belief that being a man meant being unshakable. The old man listened patiently and then said, Strength isn't about carrying everything alone. It's about knowing when to lean on others, when to let yourself feel, and when to admit you're human. The men who survive are not the strongest or the toughest. They are the ones who adapt, the ones who grow. The words struck Rohan like lightning. That night, Rohan sat alone with his thoughts. He realized that being a man wasn't about pretending to be a rock. It was about becoming a tree. A tree stands tall, but its strength comes from its root, the people it connects with, the lessons it learns, and the flexibility to bend in the storm. Rohan decided to rewrite the script of his life. He opened up to his girlfriend, called old friends he had lost touch with, and even spoke to his father. For the first time, he asked his father, Did you ever feel like you couldn't handle it all? His father looked at him, surprised, and then admitted, Every single day, but I didn't know how to show it until now. Rohan learned that being a man wasn't about hiding your emotion or carrying the world's weight in silence. It was about embracing growth, learning from mistakes, and knowing that true strength lies in vulnerability. Being a man 2.0 means redefining masculinity, not as a cage, but as a foundation for self-improvement, connection, and authenticity. The world doesn't need more men hiding behind masks of toughness. It needs men who are brave enough to grow, to adapt, and to show up as their true selves. Are you ready to become the best version of yourself? To rise above the outdated definitions of masculinity and create your own path? Don't just be a man. Be a man 2.0. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And comment below, what does being a man 2.0 mean to you? Let's start a movement of growth, strength, and authenticity together.